So this is interesting. More Americans filed for unemployment last week, although layoffs still remain historically low.
The Federal Reserve is closely monitoring any news about the job market as it weighs its next decision on interest rates. 219,000 Americans applied for jobless benefits last week. That's up 29,000 from the week before. The Labor Department will release its September jobs report tomorrow, providing even more insight into the direction of the economy. Well, John Leer joins us now. He is the chief economist at Morning Consult. John, interesting. I know we're all sort of waiting to see what we're going to get in tomorrow's report, but what do these numbers tell you generally about the state of the job market?
I think the biggest takeaway here is just how low jobless claims remain. So despite all this macro uncertainty right now and real concerns in Europe and China, the U.S. job market is remarkably resilient. And I think that's the biggest takeaway. We had a 2-week increase essentially right now. We've had that before in August. We'll wait to see what happens. But I don't think it's time yet for us to really be concerned about an immediate or a near-term downturn in the labor market.
Now, investors say they're hoping for a tighter job market because it means the Fed won't be so aggressive, right, with raising interest rates. Jerome Powell had said there will be pain. No one likes that word. And, you know, everyone hangs on every word he says. There'll be pain that comes with bringing down inflation. So do you think the Fed is likely to reconsider its interest rate strategy, considering that, you know, unemployment is low and layoffs aren't yet kind of permeating throughout the economy, but they certainly well could be?
I think what we've seen thus far, particularly from the Fed, is just how dramatically they've really pivoted since Chairman Powell's Jackson Hole speech. And I would expect to see right now probably a longer period of elevated interest rates and a longer period of interest rate hikes, even after they start to see unemployment increase. I think the other point to keep in mind is that unemployment can increase for two reasons. It can be that folks are being laid off, or it can be that folks are joining the labor force. And so you're seeing more and more people start looking for work, which would also drive the unemployment rate higher. The latter is really what the Federal Reserve wants. They want more people out there looking for work, hopefully to cool down the labor market a little bit and reduce some of the wage and price pressures that we're seeing. I think that the Fed will be very, very hesitant to dramatically change course based on any 1 month's reading.
Yeah. You know, you were mentioning layoffs. Peloton announced today that it's laying off 500 employees. The CEO also said that he was giving the company 6 months to turn itself around. We know Peloton has had several struggles recently, but how much of this do you think is a Peloton-specific problem versus a larger indicator of what's happening in the economy?
Yeah, because they did make too many bikes.
And everybody bought them at the beginning of the pandemic.
And then everybody went outside.
My biggest takeaway here from this particular incident is I think just to keep in mind that, you know, we're still in the process of sorting out exactly where workers are going to be needed in this sort of post-pandemic world. And so Peloton grew very, very rapidly, as did many other companies that seemed like, you know, the future of the economy was going to be strictly conducted at home. We're seeing now that there's more of a hybrid environment. We see a lot of small businesses, for example, increasingly are saying that they're going to operate in a hybrid work environment. That sort of reshuffling is going to lead to layoffs, but you'll also see a lot of those folks reabsorbed somewhere else. I think that's one of the reasons why weekly unemployment insurance claims have remained so low. And I don't take that as necessarily a bad sign for the macro economy, rather just a sign of the sort of reshuffling that's going on right now.
Yeah, it sounds like it's just more proof that the post-pandemic economy, if we can even call it that, continues to kind of shake itself out as people demand higher wages, employers battle with, you know, remote work versus in-person work. And so we appreciate you giving us kind of your insight on this, John, who also got the no time memo today. John Leer, thank you very much.
My pleasure. Be well.